Ever notice how everything feels safe and warm while you're slowly opening up to someone? And then the moment it becomes real, your chest tightens, your mind starts searching for exits. And without fully understanding why, you begin to emotionally step back, as if closeness itself flipped a hidden alarm inside you. And you start responding slower, needing more space, questioning feelings that felt certain just days ago. And the strange part is that nothing bad actually happened. There was no betrayal, no fight, no clear reason, yet your body reacts as if danger has arrived, and you quietly pull away, hoping the distance will calm whatever just woke up inside you. And if you have ever felt confused or guilty for doing this, psychology says you're not broken, dramatic, or incapable of love. Your brain is simply following a pattern it learned long before you were aware of it. This pattern explains why intimacy can feel safe until it suddenly feels overwhelming, and why pulling away is often not about losing interest, but about your nervous system trying to regain a sense of control when emotional closeness crosses an invisible threshold. Psychology says your brain is designed to protect you, not to make you happy, and one of the strongest protective systems it uses is attachment, which quietly develops based on early experiences with closeness, reliability, and emotional safety. And if closeness once came with unpredictability, pressure, or emotional responsibility, your brain learned to associate intimacy with risk, even if you consciously want connection. And this creates what researchers call an approach avoidance conflict, where one part of you craves closeness, while another part activates stress responses the moment it arrives. And this is why the pull away often happens after deep conversations, shared vulnerability, or emotional bonding, because those moments signal attachment forming, and your nervous system reacts by trying to restore emotional distance, not because you do not care, but because your brain senses loss of autonomy or emotional exposure and thinks it needs to protect you, and this protection often looks like withdrawal, distraction, sudden doubt, or emotional numbing. Research shows that emotional intimacy activates the same neural circuits involved in threat detection for people who grew up needing to self-regulate their emotions without consistent support. And when closeness increases, your brain starts scanning for danger, even if none exists, and you might notice your thoughts shift from feeling connected to questioning everything, replaying conversations, overanalyzing your feelings, and searching for flaws. And this is not self-sabotage, it is your brain attempting to regain certainty, because uncertainty once meant emotional pain, and distancing gives temporary relief, because space lowers emotional intensity, which calms the nervous system, reinforcing the habit. Another layer psychology highlights is emotional object permanence, which is the ability to feel secure in connection even when closeness increases or space changes. And when this is underdeveloped, closeness can feel like pressure, because your brain believes you might lose yourself or be consumed by the relationship. And so pulling away becomes a way to reassert identity, autonomy, and emotional boundaries, even when no one is actually taking them from you. And this is why, after moments of intimacy, you may suddenly crave solitude, routine, or emotional silence, because your system needs time to regulate and return to baseline. And this does not mean you are incapable of commitment. It means your regulation system is sensitive. Our brain also releases dopamine during emotional bonding, which creates intensity and novelty. And for some people, intensity feels unsafe because it mirrors emotional highs followed by emotional drops in earlier relationships. So your nervous system anticipates the crash before it happens and tries to prevent it by disengaging early. In psychology calls this anticipatory loss avoidance, where the brain pulls away to avoid future pain, even if the present is good. And this is why you might feel calmer after distancing, but also emptier, because protection and fulfillment are not the same thing. Social conditioning reinforces this pattern, especially for people who learn to be emotionally independent early, because independence was rewarded and vulnerability was not. And your brain learned that needing others is risky, so closeness activates internal conflict between wanting connection and wanting safety, and safety often wins automatically without your conscious permission. The important part psychology emphasizes is that awareness weakens the pattern, because once you recognize that the urge to pull away is a nervous system response not a truth about your feelings. You can pause instead of reacting and give yourself time to regulate before making decisions. And research shows that naming the response activates the prefrontal cortex, which helps calm emotional reactivity and creates choice, and you do not need to force closeness or shame yourself for needing space, but learning to communicate your need for regulation instead of disappearing helps retrain your brain to experience intimacy without threat. And over time, your nervous system learns that closeness does not equal loss and connection does not mean danger. So if you pull away after getting close, it is not because something is wrong with you. It is because your brain learned to protect you through distance. And now it needs new evidence that closeness can be safe, consistent, and stable, and that evidence only forms slowly through awareness, communication, and self-compassion, not through self-blame. If this resonated with you, take a moment to sit with it instead of judging it. And if you want to understand your patterns more deeply, subscribe for psychology-based insights that help you build connection without losing yourself.